And the reason why I hit the panic button for the Phillies is because of their inconsistency and the number of strikeouts. I wrote yesterday that in their last 4 games, they had 52, add another 9 from last night, albeit they won the game. They still struck out 9 times, and it's concerning to me, and it's inconsistent. 61 strikeouts in 5 games. It's a lot. But we're going to get it all cleared up, and I'm going to, guys, my next guest, my first guest, always talks me off the ledge. He's a calming force for me. So let's go to On the Mound with Tommy Greene, which is former Phillies pitcher Tommy Greene, sponsored by Blitz's Market in Ocean City, located at 21st and Asbury Avenue in Ocean City. Try their famous breakfast sandwiches, hoagies, gourmet burgers, and vegetarian options. Online ordering is available at blitzesmarkets.com or give them a call at 609-399-9983. Start your day off with Blitz's freshly squeezed orange juice. Mention the locker room, get $1 off their 12 ounces of liquid sunshine. That's Blitz's Market. Let's go to the Toms River Volkswagen Sports Hotline and welcome into the locker room our good buddy, former Phillies pitcher Tommy Greene. Good morning, T.D. Greene.
Good morning, Billy. How you doing, my friend?
Well, Tommy, I know I must sound like a broken record to you, but I'm a fan, and you're a former athlete like we have Dave Clemick in here. I'm a different animal than you guys. But I've hit the panic button, and because of their inconsistencies, it's worrying me, Tommy. Talk to change my mind.
What happened yesterday, Billy?
They won, but they're striking out way too much, and I'm worried.
Well, they're in the playoffs, Billy.
Yeah, I get it.
They're in the playoffs. I mean, you're worried about the World Series right now. Basically, what I'm hearing from you.
Yeah.
You know, is that I don't. You can't worry about that right now. It's about getting hot at the right time.
All right, so are you concerned?
This team's been this way for, 3 years?
Yeah.
This group of guys, it's been the same thing. Where have they gotten to? They've had the chance to get the World Series and get there and do it. It comes down to pitching and defense. They're going to have their times where they strike out a lot, but they're going to score some runs, you know. And they go to these ebbs and flows. They just got to win some games 2-1, 3-2, that type thing, and not afford to. They got to scrap across those runs sometimes rather less than worried about the home runs and banging balls out of the ballpark. That's what gets me.
Tommy, like
the manufacturing runs.
Tommy, like the Eagles are inconsistent with their defensive play. The Phillies, to me, they win a game 10, they lose a game 10-2, they win a game 10-4. Like I don't, to me, it's worrisome. Now you're obviously have a different mindset, but and I know it's all about pitching and one game at a time, but I'm talking about like the big picture. It just worries me, but it doesn't worry you.
Big picture. See, that comes back to the big picture. You're counting the chickens before they hatch, man. Yeah, I mean it's you're trying to get to the finish line, and we got a long way to go. You know, so we got to take care of what's in front of us today, and they're trying to figure out how to get us through. What's going to be the way to get us through, and who's going to be on that roster too. Right. You know, who's going to work and what's going to be there. You know, and also get to the finish line healthy. You know, so those guys can come. Hopefully we can have a few days off to do that. But we know how that stuff works. But I'd rather them be going in swinging the bat pretty hot, you know, and get the pitching straight. You know, where we got our 3 guys ready to go right off the bat. You know,
there's something soothing about his voice.
There.
What's that?
There's something soothing about his voice.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's why he's like Tommy Greene is my therapy session every Saturday, during the baseball season, because I get too worked up and Tommy calms me down.
I think it has something to do with your accent, Tommy, and like the Southern accent. No one ever seems like they're in a rush anyway. We're just talking slow and going, "Hey, man, it's good."
Hey. I want Billy to understand my English. You know, I don't have to talk fast and be high stressed and all that. You know, Billy, I'd like to check his blood pressure.
Well, Tommy, I got to be honest with you. I get so excited for Phillies baseball to come on at night.
Well, I do too.
And then, but then when it's like the 4th inning, they're losing 6-0, and I have higher my expectations are so high with this team to at least be when they lose, they get blown away. I'm like, I got to turn the channel at like the 4th inning.
Well, here's the thing. I see a little bit too. I mean, over the course of the year, you think back about it. You know, when they face good pitching, you know, like some dominant guys, and that's why they're dominant. That's why they're the top of the league. That's why the teams are where they're at, because They do have some pitching that gets them there. They can struggle if they don't get off to an early start and take advantage of some mistakes that guy's making. But if that pitcher's on this game, it's a tough game, for everybody. That's when our pitching's got to match what they're doing, that type of thing, because it's going to be one swing of the bat makes a difference in the ball game. And see, that's what makes this game so great. I mean, you're wanting a football score, I want a well-pitched ball game that keeps it down, and one swing of the bat makes a difference. You play the game of baseball where a walk means something, maybe getting a runner over or a fly ball gets a runner in, that type of thing, rather than banging one out of the ballpark. You got to do the little things too.
We're talking with Tommy Greene, former Phillies pitcher Tommy Greene. Every weekend during the baseball season, we go on the mound with him. Sponsored by Blitz's Market in Ocean City. Tommy, what the Phillies bullpen really seems to be coming together at the right time. Talking about coming together at the right time, they've been pretty solid. Any concerns with you in the bullpen?
Well, no. I mean, I think our arms are. I mean, we have the arms down there to do it, and I mean, we've got 3 guys down there that's been rolling pretty consistently, here of recent, and it's about getting everybody else on board, and I think. The quality's there, and it's about just getting it done now, going out there and just get to the end of the season healthy and on a good note. With Kirkering, and I'm loving the way he's throwing the ball here recently. I mean, he's obviously young last year when he was brought in to do it, but he's got a maturation this year he's grown over the course of the year, and you can see it. The confidence going out there. He knows he can have success out there. And he's got the stuff to pitch up here. And it's a huge thing to have those quality arms like that at the end of the bullpen. You got 3 guys that can close. That's got closer stuff. And then the other part is the mentality and getting it done. And that comes in experience.
Tommy Greene, as far as this year's Phillies go, who's the leader on that team? Who do people turn to, like in the pitching staff, or like using some of your experiences? Is it lead by example with this pitching staff and even the bullpen, or is there somebody that the pitchers can talk to other than like the pitching coach?
Well, I mean, it comes down to, obviously the experience in the clubhouse in particular, because hitters have seen pitchers and stuff like that, and it's good for pitchers to talk to hitters. I know I didn't never really go to pitchers a lot. We didn't have all the analytics and stuff like that. I know when I pitched, I talked to the hitting coach and some of the hitters and what they saw, what they see in hitters, other hitters, and what they see. How with my stuff, y'all see my stuff. How can I get this guy out? What would be a good approach to getting the guy out? That type of thing. You bounce things like that off guys. The best thing for a pitcher to do is talk to his catcher. It's had that communication with his catcher. They have. That off the field where they can talk about things like that. Because the catcher sees it too. He can, because every pitcher thinks that, some days they feel like crap, but the stuff's still good, but the other days they don't have good stuff and they feel like crap, and, and it's a mental game, and that's where the catcher becomes a shrink, out there. You sometimes navigate through those days, so like what I do with you.
I was waiting for that drop. It was coming.
Tommy, speaking of pitching, I wanted to know from you, we've been having a conversation in recent days about, Christopher Sanchez. And, this is a guy who pitches so much better at home than on the road this year. What do you think about that? How does a guy pitch so well? He almost has a 2-run difference home versus the road.
Well, could it be comfortability with the mound? I don't know. The mounds they're supposed to be the same. I think they're more so the same these days than they used to be back in our day, because I think home field advantage was a huge thing. Sometimes I know back in the day, you go to a visiting ballpark, the bullpen mound was different than the game mound, on the visiting side. So the slope was different or whatever. It was flatter, or steeper out there on the mound. It was steeper on the field. It's just the little nuances of thing. But home cooking. I mean, he likes to pitch in Citizens Bank. Obviously the home crowd don't know, but I mean, to me, I mean, you're pitching in a ballpark, the ball flies in. He's a ground ball guy. You know, he keeps the ball in the yard for the most part. So I don't get why it's really any different other than it's just maybe a psychological type thing. Sometimes it's comfortability where you seem to pitch more, at home. I don't know how many starts he's had at home compared to the road. I don't know. Y'all can tell me that better.
Tommy, he's actually had more home games than road games.
Road games,
yeah. So he's the comfortability. He's pitching at home. Some home cooking. They say the fan. Obviously, you got a lot of positive vibes out there. Some guys. I mean, he's a young guy too. I mean, not necessarily, but it seems that way for a lot of guys. I mean, but except for the pitchers that pitch in Colorado, you got a guy who pitches Colorado good. You need to hold on to that guy, because pop-ups, that's a big yard, but pop-ups go. I mean, it's like playing in Wrigley with the wind blowing out. You got to find a way to keep it in the yard, or you don't put runners on base ahead of those guys when you give up a home run, So, because it's going to happen, when the wind blows out there.
Tommy, today we got Ranger Suarez. He's 12-7 with a 3.13 ERA. He hasn't pitched well. He hasn't pitched well of late. You any concerns with what do you see with his mechanics, or do you think he's hurt?
No, I don't analyze it like that as far as his mechanics wise. I think it's the consistency and his, what he's doing, getting back going again, because he didn't spend a rehab assignment.
Okay.
Getting back. I think last outing was a little bit better by what I saw. He didn't get out of hand. He didn't give up a ton of hits, like he did the previous outing.
Right.
Anytime you pitch 4 or 5 innings, give up 12 hits, I mean, there's something's wrong. But he battled through it, kept it still right there. In the ball game, even though he gave up some runs and stuff, but the ball game was pretty much
close,
tied or right there, give us a chance to come out ahead in the end. So and as a starting pitcher, you might have a bad day, but if you're keeping your team in the ball game, that's what you're there for. You're not going to win every ball game. You're trying to keep your team there so we can have a chance for the team to win.
All right, Tommy. Today the Phillies play at 4:10. Today they got this is game 3 and they're 4-game set with the New York stinking Mets. So hopefully we get a win, and of course their magic number I believe is down to 1. And if they win today, they clinch the NL East. So that'll be a feather in their cap.
Well, I'm looking for a good game by Ranger today. It's about that time, and him coming back from his injury, him to kind of piece together more of a Ranger-esque type, outing. Give us a chance to jump out on these guys.
All right, Tommy, you're my therapist every weekend. You calm me down. I feel much better after I talk to you, and I appreciate it.
Thank you for the rest of the show and everybody in the studio. Thank you.
You got it, man.
All right, Tommy, we'll talk to you next week. Thanks, buddy.
All right, you got it.
All right, there he is. On the mound with former Phillies pitcher Tommy Greene. Is sponsored by Blitz's Market of Ocean City, located at 21st and Asbury Avenue. Try their famous breakfast sandwiches, hoagies, gourmet burgers, and their vegetarian options. Online ordering is available at blitzesmarkets.com, or give them a call at 609-399-9983. Start your day off with Blitz's freshly squeezed orange juice. Mention the locker room. Get $1 off their 12 ounces of liquid sunshine. Go down there and say hello to Dave and Joe Newman.